Hi class! I'm sorry that I can't be here today, but we are going to have a very exciting lesson about how to create an outline. An outline is a way to organize information that you will then use to create an essay. So it is very important to think hard about the information that we put in the outline. Brainstorm ideas when we're in the outline process, because if you write a good outline, the cool thing is that your paper almost writes itself for you. So you don't have to think much about what you're writing if you spend some time creating a great outline. Okay. If you look at the top of the outline that you have in front of you, it should look exactly like the one that is projected on the screen. If you have 3 different colors and a pen or pencil, it might help you to understand how this outline is put together and therefore how your essay is put together. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to locate, if necessary, if you would like to, 3 different colors plus your pen or pencil to do a little bit of color coding on the essay. If you do not have different colors, or if you choose not to, that is okay. However, please note that tomorrow you will be expected to create your own outline, so as many notes as you can take on this outline will be helpful to you. Okay, please bring it back together and listen up carefully. All right, at the top of your paper you will see a thesis statement. The thesis statement that is the example one, so you can't use this one. Sorry guys. The sample thesis statement is: the giver shows that there can be no pleasure without pain by showing the lack of emotions in the community, revealing memories of both pleasure and pain, and by Jonas's ultimate choice to leave the community. This thesis statement contains 3 subtopics. These are the things that I would color code. Subtopic number 1 is this showing the lack of emotions in the community. Subtopic number 2 is revealing memories of both pleasure and pain. And subtopic number 3 is Jonas's ultimate choice to leave the community. I have color coded those in 3 different colors because those subtopics, if you remember, will become the body paragraphs of your essay, except for the counter-argument paragraph, which we'll talk about in a little while. Okay. So the Roman numeral number 1 here is your introduction paragraph. When you create your essay, you will also write introduction paragraph next to Roman numeral number 1. The next step to creating an outline is to have these subtopics, or these next levels, in your in your outline. If you recall, you have your hook in your introduction paragraph, and in this essay outline I have drafted a hook. So this is my hook draft. I might change it later. So how does a person know when they experience true happiness? This is my thought about how to engage the audience. I might change that. Background information. I have reminded myself to summarize the book and Jonas's journey. You will note that my outline is not written in full sentences, and it only contains sort of the brainstorming information, not all of the information that I might include in my paragraph. And then part C of the intro paragraph is my thesis statement. I'm not going to rewrite my thesis statement because I have it up here already, so there's no point in rewriting it down here. Okay. My next paragraph I show by putting a Roman numeral number 2. And then I wrote body paragraph number 1. In my essay, body paragraph number 1 is focused on my first subtopic, lack of emotions in the community due to no pain or pleasure. And I am going to again highlight that in the same color that I highlighted it in the thesis statement, so I remember that this whole paragraph is focused on that subtopic. My A, B, and C are my examples from my book. So I have the control of emotions, the pill, and you'll note that I have put blanks where page numbers should be. In your outline, you will include page numbers because then you've done all the work before you write the essay, and when you write the actual essay, it'll be so easy. Notice that I did not quote that part of the book. I actually just put my ideas down. In your outline, you can choose to either include the exact quote you want to use, or you can just include the idea with the page number. Again, just because my page numbers are blank does not mean that yours should be. This is a sample outline. It is not what your outline will be. So I have my 3 examples because we know in an advanced power paragraph we need at least 3 examples with an explanation. So I have the control of emotions with the pill, mother's shock at the love question. You guys remember that part when Jonas was like, "Do you love me?" And she was like, "Jonas, don't be so imprecise with your language." Okay, so that kind of showed that there was no emotions in the community and there was no pain or pleasure. That supports my thesis statement that we need pain to have pleasure. And then again, the preciseness of language. Everybody in the community kind of doesn't have emotions and they're just focused on what words mean, not the feeling behind the words. Okay, those are my 3 examples I will use and page numbers. Body paragraph number 2 is going to focus on my subtopic number 2, the fact that memories of pain lead to more understanding of pleasure. Okay, so I'm going to highlight that in the same color that I highlighted it above so that I remember that that subtopic goes with my second body paragraph. So memories of pain lead to more understanding of pleasure. You guys remember that moment when Jonas had snow and he was so excited, and then the next time the giver kind of made him know what it was like to freeze or burn, and he gave him these like nasty memories, but Jonas still wanted those happy memories of the snow, and it made them even better. So that's my example 1. My example number 2, it is the memory of war makes Jonas want to improve his friendships. So the memory of the pain of war makes him want to improve his friendships. And I have 2 sub-examples on that one. So this one might be a little bit longer than our normal standard advanced power paragraph because there are 2 things. The war games with friends, remember how he really wanted his friends to not play those war games. He wanted them to be better than that. And then his whole situation with Asher as well. So I would have to find some textual evidence for that. And my 3rd example is that the memory of all of the feelings makes Jonas care for Gabriel more. So again, the memory of pain makes him want to protect Gabriel, etc. So I would have my page number there as well. Body paragraph number 3, what does that go with, guys? Take a look back at the top. What should my 3rd body paragraph address? If you just thought to yourself that it should address our 3rd subtopic, you are correct. So we are going to, again, highlight or underline our 3rd body paragraph with the same color as our subtopic up here. Now, some of you might be asking yourself the question of why did Ms. Vauber write this subtopic differently in the body of the essay than I did up here? Well, when we're listing subtopics, we might not want to be that wordy, but when we're using topic sentences, we want to be more specific. So Jonas decides to risk leaving the community for a better life so he can have both pain and pleasure. Ooh, that's a full sentence because I had a really good idea when I was writing my outline. It is a little bit different than just this Jonas's ultimate choice to leave the community because it spends more time explaining exactly what I mean by that and how it links to our thesis that we can't have pleasure without pain. So there are 3 things that I include in this 3rd body paragraph. He takes the risk to leave, comfort for adventure, so I'm going to write the page number where he makes that decision. Jonas wants Gabriel to have a family, and I noted to myself that a loss of a family member is painful, but makes feelings for family members more pleasurable. That was my interpretation of Jonas and Gabriel's relationship. So I put the page number as to where I had that thought. And finally, Jonas and the giver have hope. They both know that there are painful things, or there could be painful things elsewhere, but they can maintain hope in this idea of pleasure. So really, the fact that they experience pain leads them to have more hope for pleasure. All right, guys, body paragraph 4. Remember that this is our counter argument. I am going to underline, circle, bold that, whatever you need to do. It's our counter argument. So our argument was that there can be no true pleasure without pain. So what's the opposite of that? That we can have pleasure without pain. In fact, it's better when we don't have pain. And we can support that by saying that Jonas's world has lots of pleasure, just not in the way that we understand. Okay, and this body paragraph is not a power paragraph. So I just reminded myself, I have my reason one, that someone might argue that people in Jonas's community are happy, and I would have a specific example of that. My second reason why people might argue this counter argument would be that words do not exist in Jonas's society, and that makes people happier. And then again, if you look back at your notes, the third thing that we need in this paragraph is why the counter argument is not strong. This is your however statement. So I noted in my outline that there's no real pleasure in Jonas's community because there's no love, feelings, etc. So we do need pain to have pleasure. And our sixth paragraph, guys, is our conclusion paragraph. Okay, if you look at your notes, you restate your thesis statement, you summarize your three arguments or your three subtopics in different words to make your writing more interesting, and then you end with a clincher. And this is an outline, so I just brainstormed my clincher by saying a society without love is a society without true happiness. And then I put add more question mark because I'm not sold on my clincher yet, but my outline is a space for me to brainstorm and think about my ideas before I try to write my entire paper. Alright guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this lovely presentation. I hope that you are picturing me standing in front of you, being so exciting, I'm sure. And most importantly, I hope that this sets you up for success tomorrow when you begin to create your own outline. Please note that you will be thinking of a thesis statement tomorrow. So tonight you might want to start thinking about what lessons we learned from the giver. And you can also think about the other things that we read, the lottery, Harrison Bergeron, if you read it, and the ones who walked away from Omelas to inform your essay as well. Remember that you have a VCR 7 test this Friday, so you should have practiced with 6 more words, 5 or 6 more words during the do now today. And you should continue to study tonight so that on Friday you are successful on those words. Please remember that Quizlet.com is a great source. It tells you how to pronounce the words. It has some quizzes for you and other cool things that you can look through. So, yay! Happy day, guys. Have a good evening, and I hope that you understood this. If you have any questions, please let me know via email. Thanks. Bye.